Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
But while some are taking advantage of the global economy to protect their own wealth, there are plenty who are really feeling the crunch. Here, after a financial decision taken half a world away, thousands of British steel jobs are on the line. Tonight, the business secretary is on his way to Mumbai to meet Tata bosses after talks here with unions, industry leaders and Sanjeev Gupta, one of the tycoons tipped as a potential buyer for those UK sites. Our business correspondent Helia Ebrahimi managed to speak to him. So what kind of deal would he cut?
The crash of UK steel. And now the race to rescue an industry under fire. But while the business secretary scrambles to Mumbai for crisis talks with Tata's chairman, pressure is building on a deal to find a white knight. And here's the man who reckons he fits the bill.
I will not undertake any project in the UK, including Port Talbot, which would require us to make people redundant.
This was the pledge Mr. Gupta took to Sajid Javid this afternoon.
Are you close to reaching a deal?
What's the plan for Tata?
But like every deal, there are always caveats.
There will be transformations required. Even in Newport, we are going to take a lot of measures about using our labour flexibly, whether it's, we're going to start our scrap operation, for example, so we will use them flexibly. When we're not running the rolling mill, we'll use them in other things.
The bid to own Port Talbot would add to Mr. Gupta's growing UK empire. Newport in Wales is just one example of a rescue deal prized from an industry in freefall.
Newport is one of the success stories of British steel. Over the last 3 decades, it's been owned by Greeks, Iranians, Russians, and now an Indian family. While the workforce has dwindled from 600 down to just 150, the River Usk still brings boats here, each one carrying 20,000 tonnes of steel. The British industry might be struggling, but it's not dead yet.
Unlike traditional steel producers, Liberty is really a commodities trading house, run globally, shipping metals across the world, financing deals and swooping on gaps it sees in the market.
I saw an opportunity in UK Steel.
And now the chance he sees is with Tata.
It's not an unexpected situation, it's just the timing is unexpected. The writing was on the wall and this was headed towards this direction. I've been waiting so that we can play a role in transforming this. Our initial analysis, and it is only an initial analysis, is that the workforce which we're down to now is an efficient and sustainable workforce. It will need retraining because if you're going to transition from blast furnaces to arc furnaces, there are different processes, it requires different skills. So there will be need for retraining and there will be need for operating everything on a slightly more flexible basis than it's currently done. But that's what we do, that's who we are. We are a flexible operator because we come from that DNA. We don't come from the DNA of a large integrated steel producer, we come from the DNA of international trading, of mini mills. We have mini mills all over Africa, in India, and now in the UK. So we will be able to apply that mindset to this business as well.
What Mr. Gupta is talking about is a major shift from blast furnaces, which are labour intensive and gobble up energy, to arc furnaces. In Port Talbot, this would mean an expensive transformation. The question is, who would pay? Mr. Gupta would like Tata to hand over a multi-million-pound dowry, a subject sure to be on the agenda in tomorrow's Mumbai talks with the business secretary. But that's not the only obstacle. The potential £2 billion pension liability is where most buyers lose enthusiasm. Today, the regulator was cagey about how far it would go in a compromise arrangement and whether the taxpayer would be on the hook even if the business didn't go into administration.
The government cannot click their fingers and give you a solution. There has to be somebody willing to provide a solution which is viable. I don't think the government should sustain or provide support for something which is not sustainable. There has to be, if the taxpayer is going to pay for anything, it has to be for a proper sustainable solution. Ultimately, we will invest in this if we can do this, and if we can't, we won't.
By the end of this week, the first marketing documents on a potential deal will be rolled out. Tata's 15,000 jobs hinge on the level of support demanded by buyers and whether that's a price the government and Tata are willing to pay.